This is me, heart and soul. Here's a part of me the world may never know. Here's my story. When I lose, I let my guard down. Here's the naked truth. I let my guard down. Here's the naked truth. I let my guard down. I let my guard down. I let my guard down. Here's the naked truth.
My people, what's going on? This is your boy Monroe, aka He Smiles, and you are tuning in to the Naked Truth Experience with Monroe. It is Thursday, February 18th, and yes, we are back. We are here. We missed you last week, but thank you for allowing us to take a little bit of time off. But it is important that we continue to be consistent in your heads, in your minds, in your souls, in your hearts, and in your viewing screens. Yes, we are here. Listen, before we get started, I want to just remind you to please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. We are on all of the social media platforms. Please go ahead and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. And then, yes, please join our Facebook group experience, the Naked Truth Experience there. Okay, folks. So tonight is going to be a little bit different. The naked truth is that tonight almost didn't happen. Yeah, I'm going to just kind of put that out there. Why didn't it almost happen? Because I am living what we talk about. Your host, the Naked Truth Experience with Monroe, is living what we talk about on a week-to-week basis. So in regards to really looking at what are our goals, what is the intention behind them, speaking to our inner child, really understanding some of our needs and some of our wants and how we may be externalizing that onto people, places, or things, and how we're setting up our expectations, right, for what we define as success. We talked about the need for external validation. And now, with all of that, I've really been moving into this space and place of alignment and surrender, alignment and surrender, alignment and surrender. When I say that I'm living what we are talking about, it's because real time, right now, there are things happening in my life, good things, great things, but things that are having me be very introspective and day to day, week to week, going inward, asking myself some really hard questions about where I'm going, what it is I'm doing right now, what do I intend to be the outcome and the goal of these activities, of these actions, of this intention. But then I'm also looking at where things are really prospering in my life, and I'm attributing that to alignment. I'm attributing that to surrender. So when I say the show almost didn't happen tonight, is because in the real time grappling with some things, in the real time recognizing the beauty and the what I want to say, the benefits of alignment and surrender, it hasn't left me a lot of time to be creative, to think of new content to come with shows. But then it has me, interestingly enough, reminiscing and longing for the days sometimes when we were back on Instagram, when all I did was go live and I'd talk to you like this. We'd bring up a subject, a topic that flowed with the energy, that flowed with what was on people's hearts and minds. And I think about how effortless in many instances, still work, right? Still intentionality, but the effortlessness of it because it was so organic. Now I know you may be watching this, and whomever's watching at this time or may watch the replay, I'm sure Julius too is like, what? We're going to talk to him in a minute. But I just had to get this off and share this with you from my heart because it's real. It's what's been happening. The Naked Truth Experience is a movement of God, is a spiritual movement from week to week. And I remember getting comments from individuals who were saying, man, this literally Thursday nights have turned into my church. Thursday nights have turned into my opportunities to heal. And how profound of an impact that had on me, how humbled I was to hear that a space and place that God had entrusted me with and continues to entrust me with has been a catalyst or a gateway for someone's awareness or healing or just someone's spiritual experience. And with ambition, so now let's go tap into our goal getters episode. With ambition, genuine intent and ambition, I wanted to grow the show. I wanted to move the show to another platform, and the aesthetic that you see here today, right? This was the vision. But if I really interrogate that, I think I may have thought that the organic, even simple nature of being able to just go live on Instagram and have me and connecting with the audience, for some reason, I don't know if I felt like that was enough. Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? And so these are the questions sometimes that I need to ask myself. Did you feel like you weren't enough? Did you feel like the platform didn't give enough spectacularness? I just made up a word. Like, was your voice not enough? And so, did you need something else? So, obviously, that goes into a lot of other questions, right? When we think about insecurities, when we think about what we need to be validated, does this sound familiar? Yeah, because it's what we've been talking about lately. When we think about those internal narratives that drive us and that sometimes push us beyond the place and space, that spirit, that nature that God intends for us to be, where the magic is happening, where the intention is pure and organic. So these are the questions that I've been asking myself. I do not, let me make this very clear, despite the journey in any way. And I am so grateful and thankful for all that we've been able to do here with the Naked Truth Experience with Monroe and how it has evolved. But I have to ask myself this question, like, was the magic where it was so simple? Was the magic in my audacity to turn on a live in my living room that took me about an hour and a half to position the camera, Jimmy rigged the light because I didn't have this beautiful 19-inch light. I had my phone. I didn't have this higher tech camera. But it was the audacity to say that I had something to say. And regardless of anybody logged on or not, if anybody responded, that it was enough that I felt like I had something to say. And I think in some of the goal setting, the aspirational nature of wanting to grow and get bigger, I forgot about the fact that it's enough that I believe I have something to say. And I'm going to share it. So I'm here because I struggled to get here tonight. And, thank God for my partner. Thank God for my producer by the name of Julius, for, first of all, having a conversation with my partner prior to just interrogate the feelings and thoughts that I was having, right? Being able to bounce off. And then being able to text Julius and be very transparent and honest with him about the struggle and the things that I've been going through. And for him to respond and say, listen, man, whatever you decide to do, we're in this together as we are. And I appreciate that. But I'm here because I have to remind myself that I have something to say. And if anybody is watching this, I know we've got some comments down here, but if anybody else is watching this and you are feeling like you need, as my brother Byron Jamal would say, the love coach, that you need the paint, right? You need the paint, that the paint makes you, that the lights, that the HD camera, that the aesthetics, that the graphics, and all of that, which are all wonderful and beautiful things. But if you think that that makes you, I'm here to tell you, it is you that makes you. It is the essence of you. It is the uniqueness of you. It is what you can only bring to the table that no one else can. That makes it special. I'm speaking to you and I'm speaking to me. So again, y'all, the Naked Truth Experience with Monroe, I'm living it every single day. And I know I'm not the only one because I am so inspired by the comments that I get, whether it be a text, a DM, or something that is, public. And I know we are all walking this journey together. And so my commitment to you, I'm going to start crying. I'm trying not to, but my commitment to you is to honor this vision that God literally gave me and has entrusted me with by continuing to stay aligned, by surrendering to even this moment as I am now. I didn't know what I was going to talk about tonight. I didn't have a topic. That's why you didn't have a flyer. But I'm literally surrendering to the moment. I am literally bringing all that I am, all that I have, and the authenticity to this space and to this time to speak to you, to speak to my spirit and my soul, to remind myself, to encourage myself, to hopefully remind you, encourage you that you have all that you need. You have all that you need. And so there's a recommitment that I'm making to you tonight to remember that, so that the Naked Truth Experience continues to be that space of healing, continues to be that church, that spiritual experience, continues to be whatever God has intended for it to be, and whatever you need it to be. I saw some comments. Julius, can we run those back? I just definitely want to acknowledge and respond. And actually, Julius, we have a treat because you coming on live tonight, brother. I want to introduce Julius Jones, Julius J.U. Jones, as many of you may know. I know he's shaking his head. But this is the guy that you guys hear me week to week just say how much I love him, appreciate him, and thank him for his hard work. Because when I gave to him the vision of where I wanted this to go, Julius was able to take that and literally operationalize it and really help me bring it to fruition. So I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of admiration. I have a lot of love for this guy here. So, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
All right. So first and foremost, what's up, everybody? I'm Julius J.U. Jones. And I actually just got emotional. You know I'm a crybaby. I'm a Fantasia, as I call it. That's my adjective and pronoun for the night. I'm Fantasia. And in this moment, I'm going to be transparent. I did put up a quote. I did create a quote. You know me. You know what I said I would do. I did not know where you were going tonight, but I am happy that you went there. And so the quote that I'll give you in this moment is change the world by being yourself. There are moments in life where we all just have to let it go, let it out, be ourselves, as that's what would help. So what I'm going to do for you, as I know you're in a moment, I am going to bring up some of the comments. I am going to read them and let you take them in this moment, as people did say that you were speaking to them in that moment. And it's important to validate that. It's important to say it, but it's also important, as you said, to be honest about being in that moment and living the naked truth as we create this show together. And so a Facebook user said that it's great to ask yourself those challenging questions, but your reach and content is powerful. So don't doubt the authenticity of you and this beautiful creation of the naked truth. Thank you, Facebook user. Julian Cunningham said, you're an inspiration, brother. I love the transparency. I think Instagram might have more traffic and people might feel more open to share on that platform. Either way, the work you're doing is healing. Miss Latouche said, it's enough that I believe I have something to say. Whoa. Yes, you're speaking to me. You're not the only one. The Facebook user then came back and said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Keep sharing your message. Those who need to hear what you have to offer will show up. Stay the course. Hashtag, I'm working not to profit for us. Miss Latouche came back and said a few days ago, I had that imposter syndrome feeling. I had to shake it off and remind myself what I really bring to the table I sit at. Shelly Champion said, the words coming out of your mouth are so beautiful and mean so much. People are like, yay, Julius, hello. Shelly it's nice to finally put a face with the name. Hi, Shelly. Facebook user says, Julius is the truth. Thank you for saying that. And then Miss Latouche said, you have an authentic soul. And so.
Listen, the love and the affirmation that comes from this community week to week is never unnoticed. And I want you to know how grateful I am, Julius is. And again, I refer to both of us because we are the Naked Truth Experience. Just really how grateful we are for the people who show up week to week and the people who drop in one week and who may not come back. Again, whatever, if you've ever had an experience with the Naked Truth Experience, it does not go unnoticed. And I say thank you. Julius, I want to talk to you just about, you and I have had a lot of conversations around really being okay in your own skin. Right? Being okay in your own skin and how that love for yourself, that acceptance for yourself, the celebration for yourself has the opportunity for you to then fully walk in your purpose and your power. If you don't mind sharing, just what's kind of been your journey around knowing that you have something to say and that's enough?
I would say my journey has been looking in the mirror, as I call it. One thing you always know I say, I call it the mirror of life. And that's the mirror I tell people to look into when I'm speaking to them about what they deserve, what they should have. And so, transparency, recently I figured out what I deserved. I figured out that I deserved happiness. I figured out that I deserved love. I figured out that I deserved success. I figured out that I deserved the jobs that I applied for. I figured it out. Yeah. And so that journey for me, and I love that someone said imposter syndrome because we've talked about that. Yeah. That journey for me was being able to sit and honor that sometimes I too am that person. And so whether it's I too am the person that is hurt, I too am the person that is hid feelings, I too, it literally has shook me to now know that it's okay to live in it. And that's my journey. Is 2020 COVID taught me that it was okay. And 2020 also taught me, men's retreat from FCBC taught me that I need to talk about the feelings more often. And by talking about those feelings, we give space for everyone else to do the same thing. And so with the Naked Truth, that's one reason why why I feel so good. It's because you actually are giving space to people to be their authentic selves, no matter what that is, no matter how ugly, beautiful, or in between that is. And
what does that mean? Because, that's one of the things too that I've been thinking about is that, we can say, be your authentic self, authenticity, we can use these words sometimes and they can become buzzwords in a lot of different arenas. But for you, what does authenticity, what does showing up as your authentic self, what does that really kind of mean to you, boots on the ground?
I love that you asked that because I have a quote for that I didn't. Again, this is so not planned this way,
Yeah.
but the quote that I did bring up as we talked about, like if you have a quote, put it up, is being different isn't a bad thing. It means you're brave enough to be yourself.
Mm.
For me, when I think about authentic, it means actually giving myself the space to be revolutionary inside of whoever I am. What that
Ooh,
means to me is literally saying, I no longer have to wear the veil. I no longer have to present as something that you want me to present as, even if that makes you feel good about my presence.
ooh, you said being revolutionary within, what was that? Within who
Within
you
me,
are?
within who I am.
Being revolutionary within, just within who you are. I think the word revolutionary for a lot of people has been reserved for these individuals that we think are super intellectual,
Mhm,
super courageous,
mhm.
in the sense of, maybe being out on the front lines in a very public way. And thinking about revolutionary, being brave enough, going back to your quote, to just be who you are, being different.
Yeah, yeah,
That's revolutionary, especially when we're living in a society of individuals who desire to be so much like everyone else.
exactly. And I think if more of us look at the word and the actual definition of the word, we'll start using it differently. You know how I classify myself as professor of positivity. And so, what I mean when I say revolutionary is that we already know it's an adjective, and that adjective means involving or causing a complete or dramatic change.
Yeah,
When you are revolutionarily you,
yeah.
all that other stuff doesn't mean anything. When you can sit in the feelings that are yours and be honest and transparent and dynamic in that transparency, everything is everything. And it just stays everything.
I don't know if many people understand that just by being them, I want to sit in that for a moment, just by being you is revolutionary. Most people think that mediocrity, or they assume that mediocrity, which I kind of attribute to trying to be like someone else or
Mhm.
maintain status quo. Like anybody can emulate what they see. Anybody can maintain a status quo. But I'm just stuck on this for a moment about the revolutionary nature of being you. However you were made, however you were, your essence, your soul, your mind, your thoughts, your body,
Mm.
your being. Like, damn, like
It's
how
big.
how profound of an impact do you think individuals would have on this world if they really just took a moment and fully internalized the revolutionary nature of just being themselves? God, when you said that, that just like, yeah,
I I can truly say that I've struggled. And like when I say that, that comes from a place of struggle, a
yeah,
place of hurt, a place of trauma. And when you take the time to heal, when you take the time, and that's a cliche saying nowadays too, because everyone's saying it, heal, heal, heal. But no, taking the time to heal means sometimes writing it out, getting that journal out, getting on the mirror and literally writing out how you feel that day, or fighting that imposter syndrome, or looking at the person that said that you wouldn't be, and just smiling gracefully, but in your mind being like, you're wrong, and that's okay.
yeah,
Deleting the hate. How how difficult? Because like once you delete the hate for them, which is what I've had to do from trauma,
yeah.
you delete the hate for yourself, and then that's when you can start being revolutionarily you.
I want to move to this piece where what also has been coming up with me in my personal life, and I mentioned this in the opening, is alignment and surrender. So I'm gonna put those two words out there. On Valentine's Day, I put it out there in a post in regards to the love that I have for my romantic partner, for my life partner. And I talked about alignment and surrender, that those being two major factors as to why I was able to receive the love that is he, right? Um, And what is this? It's messed up that we live in a world where, yeah. So the idea of being, come on. Yeah, right. I love that, Shelley. Um, but we talked about alignment and surrender in context of me being able to receive love in the romantic way that I have it now.
Mhm.
Alignment and surrendering, though, I'm seeing it in other aspects of my life that when I am aligned, right, to my authenticity, when I'm aligned to my truth,
Mhm.
when I'm aligned to pure and genuine intention, when I'm aligned to spirit, when I
That part.
surrender, right? When
Mhm.
I surrender to the fact that I don't have it all figured out, when I surrender to the fact that I am human, when I surrender to the fact that I am going to make mistakes, that is when things begin to work as they should in my life. And so, this piece on alignment and surrender, I'm seeing the universal application across anything in our lives, whether it be love, finances, creativity, productivity, so on and so forth. Alignment and surrender. Have those two played any significant part in your life? Alignment and surrender.
Yes. Yes. And so this goes, and I think since we talk a lot, you know where this comes from.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it goes back to the beginning of 2020. We had an amazing trip um, down south
Yeah.
to Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I surrendered. I gave it up. The act, the performance, the putting on, the anger, the anguish. I said no more. And so once I did that, stuff started changing automatically. And I always thought about like why is it changing? And I'm like, oh, I'm no longer showing up as the angry asshole. I'm now showing up as more loving. I'm now showing up and being honest about the way I feel. I'm now showing up being authentic to me. And things shifted from jobs to friendships to family ships. My mother and father ship shifted and changed. And so, yeah, alignment and just surrendering those things that I was holding on to and just saying, some of it I can't change, but I can heal from it. I can grow from it. I can spread and fly my wings from it.
We get comfortable when I think about the difficulty in surrendering. The
Mhm.
difficulty in surrendering. I know in my personal life, there's been a couple of reasons why it's been difficult. One is because I literally think in my head that I know what's best.
Yeah.
That's number one. And that there is this ego that goes into my decision to hold on to something that the universe is asking me to relinquish so that the universe can make way, so that God can make way for something that not only do I need, but something that is going to exceed my expectations of what I thought I knew was best for me, right? So there's this ego that's involved. There is this I cannot like no one could know a better way. That's one thing that I've had to overcome in
Yeah.
surrendering. The other thing is really lack of self-esteem.
I know that one.
Lack of self-esteem, right? And knowledge of self-worth, because I thought that in the surrendering, right, it was going to play into a narrative that I was weak. It was going to play into a narrative that I was uneducated. It was going to play into a narrative that I was not a good steward over my money and my time. It was going. So there were these things here, that these internal monologues that said I wasn't worthy if I did not have this particular job that I
Mhm.
said I was going to have, or this particular material possession, or this particular relationship, whatever the case may be. So I know when we think about the surrender, it is hard because either ego or that low self-worth, right? You're
Let's hit a
shaking.
quote.
Yeah.
No, Mike, let's hit a quote because like while I was looking around, I was like, there's a quote that I already know.
Come on.
So before we even go into the quote, there's a lot of people. Somebody said, "Oh my God, Jules, you're talking to something within me right now. It's resonating so much." Waverly said, "Speak on it."
Mm.
So while I was looking around, I was preparing a quote for us. And the quote is actually about surrendering. And it basically says, surrender and accept whatever is happening in the moment. The universe is working on your behalf. And so I can be honest. For years, I held on to the abuse. And when I say abuse, I mean emotional abuse, whether it was the bullies at school, being thrown into lockers, spit on, etc. For years, I held on to it. That chip set on my shoulder. Do I still feel it as I talk right now? The answer is yes, I do. And my therapist plus God equals I'm working on healing in that aspect, right? That should be a shirt. Somebody need to make that. Hold on, maybe that needs to be a Monroe shirt.
You said it.
ShopMonroeHoward.com. Anyway, when I think about that chip that was on my shoulder, that chip lasted so long because I started to live in that vein and I didn't surrender the chip. I let the chip become me.
How did it serve you? How did the chip serve you? How did it end up serving you?
Honestly, now it ended up making me the happier person now.
In that moment, I'm going to go back to when, because what I understand is holding on to certain narrative, holding on to certain, hurt, pain, victimization, or different things like that, in that moment, we believe it serves us in some way, right? It positions us. So in the reluctancy to surrender, how did it serve you? How was it
I thought it was protecting me from bad people, bad energies. Lo and behold, honesty, I became the bad person and the bad energy. And I laugh at it now because and we've talked about this, I'm so apologetic for it now that I know it, now that I feel it, now that I see it. But back then, I was like, you're the problem. And even if they were a part of it, right? Yeah. The problem was actually my trigger, my issue surrounding me and everyone else. Because it wasn't just them touching it, it was me allowing to say, okay, you touched it, now I have to react, which is even more toxic. Why do it? And so now while I'm living in this space, I'm just like, I surrender it. That happened yesterday. Heard you. This is how we're moving forward today. Grace.
I think it was important that we recognize why we don't surrender things and what we feel like we're getting out of holding on to it. You saw it as a protective factor. And there's so many of us that see these things as protective factors, defense mechanisms, ways in which to make us feel, greater than we can in our own skin, right? It's these layers that we put on, the paint, the makeup that we put forth, and we feel
performance.
Without it, we feel like if I surrender that, without it, what am I left with?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is that if we just take the chance to surrender those things, what I have found to be true, and I know what you found to be true, as you stated, on the other side of the surrender is the freedom, is the liberation, is the deep breathing. Literally.
Every day.
You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. You got a quote? You got another quote, Bruno?
I was sitting here looking because I felt something, but I didn't find it quickly.
Listen, we could go on and on. We could go on and on. I wanted to first of all just have this moment and this opportunity to let you all in, everybody who is like, let you into like, this is not for play, right? When we say the Naked Truth Experience, yo, man, that's what we mean. Like, with all genuine sincerity, this is an ever evolving and growing, I'm using our mission statement, right? Ever evolving and growing experience for all of us involved. So I wanted to take a time because I am very big on the accountability, and there is no Naked Truth Experience without us, you, me, Julius, the community. And so it was very, very important for us to come today and just say, I surrender to this moment. This is what Spirit says we're going to talk about. And that's what it's supposed to be. And apparently, that has resonated with some of y'all. And if it has allowed you to think about something that pertains to your own experience and your own life, then we did what we were supposed to do. I want to sincerely thank you for allowing this platform to come into your home, to come into your life at whatever point, and for coming into mine. Julius, my brother, you weren't supposed to leave. I don't know where you went, man. You weren't supposed to leave. But I want to
I'm here.
I want to say thank you, man. For those of you who did not know the face behind the magic, this is him. And again, I'll say it publicly. I am grateful to you. And we got some comments coming in here, huh? When I think of performing that functions in my life in various spaces, if I'm honest, it's shielding me from exposing my vulnerability because of the negative perceptions of being so. This discussion is hitting me some ways tonight. Thank you for being you. Thank you, Shelly, for being you. Man, it's funny how some of us walk around thinking we're the only ones, and if in
not.
this moment that we open up, man, we realize, man, this thing is within many of us.
It is. It is. And I think a lot of us have to put on so much. And first and foremost, happy Black History Month to all the beautiful Black and brown people out there.
Yes.
And even in a month like this, while we're watching people say delete this month for various reasons around the world, and it's been
I
some
didn't
mess.
hear what?
I'll go ahead and Google News. It's a mess.
I'm right on that. Right on that.
And so, but like going through that and then being in the workplace and having to fight those battles, we all have to put on veils, no matter who we are, where we come from, what we do, who we love, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, similar to where Shelley said, the shielding from the vulnerability, I think the time is now.
Yeah.
Literally, the time is now for all of us to step out behind the veils and start to be transparently, beautifully emotional, human,
and revolutionarily
you.
Listen, that hit me, brother.
Yeah.
I'm running with that.
And so all I will say, no, take it. See, like, post it tonight, please. Get the Facebook group.
I'm a revolutionary. I want each one of you out there. Please say it to yourself. You know, if you say it out loud with us right now, or if it's something that needs to get in your spirit and come a little bit later, you are a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. We are a revolutionary just because of who we are. Uniquely who we are.
Yeah.
Right? And through that, your power will manifest wonderful things in this world. And that is not going to be measured by the number of people who know your name, the number of people who tap your picture to like or to affirm your tweet. That's a lesson that I'm learning right now. Right now. That's not the measure of your worth. It's not the measure of your impact. Because if it is one person who says that because of you being brave enough to be revolutionarily you, I am better.
It's this for me. It's this for me.
Julius, I think we're going to end there tonight. Thank you, brother.
Yes. Oh, we do have to say what we're going to do. Like, I'll let you.
Never stop being a producer. I need you guys to please like, share, and subscribe on all of our platforms that we have there. And please, please, please jump into the naked.
Hey, guess what? They didn't show up. So let's do that again because this is live.
I need you to like, share, and subscribe. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. And please let somebody know. Let them know. We're here Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'm so honored and so proud to be part of this experience. As I always say, you all have a wonderful night. Take care.
Choose